Hello, this is my Crazy X channel. Please subscribe.
Told my husband very hurtful things and I regret it. Any way we can make this work? Story 1-2. Background: I'm 32F, married to my husband S36M. We have a son who's 6M. My husband works at a well-paying job, but it requires tons of efforts, which was why he wasn't really attentive to us. If that didn't help, COVID put us in lockdown and we both put on a lot of weight. Our bedroom became less frequent at that point. This year, I've started attending gym and eating healthy. I've grown fit and also made new friends who have started to hang out with twice a week, both male and female. You see, I was an introvert and never really went out or stayed up late. The thrill, excitement, living to the fullest is beautiful. I also went on a trip against my husband's wishes with my friends and spent a decent amount of money, something he's pissed off about. My husband works 7-8 hours a day and also takes care of my son most of the time. His insistence: I've asked him to visit gym with me, but he's always refused. Our distance increased this period and we both weren't aware of it. He began to cook his own meals, didn't even call me like before or asked where I was going. It's as if he gave up. I noticed this a few times and I too grew resentful about it, thinking, why wouldn't he just ask me? Why wouldn't he talk to me? 2 months after this, we are currently in August, and he drops the news he got a promotion. He was worried if he would make it, which is why he was stressed out and couldn't concentrate on other things. He apologized about it and told me he'd make it up for it. Our life started to improve. We started to have time frequently, but I don't know why I felt disconnected to him. It's as if I wasn't attracted to him anymore. He wasn't overweight or obese, just put on a few pounds, and I wasn't attracted to him. We planned a date night in September, but it got delayed. My fault, because our son had a high fever. We had to visit my parents, and also I told him numerous times that I wasn't interested in going to dates with him because I was depressed and needed time. I lied about that. I was just not attracted to him. All my friends and me were fit. I was enjoying the attention I got. So this back and forth went on for the following months. Our bedroom became dead again. Until last week, I finally gave in, and after that, we planned a date night. So it was 4 days ago. We were out. Our son was with his sister. We went out to our favorite place and was talking. I felt lively and relived the old memories again. This was the place we went on our first date. I felt the spark and chemistry again. It was then I happened to stumble upon one of my gym friends, male. Let's call him T. He was well built and he himself was on a date with another woman. He greeted me and I introduced him to my husband. He told him hi and asked me if we can go out and grab a coffee later on. It was even before my husband had the time to introduce himself properly. He was disrespected by it and I too was caught off guard. I told him later on and he left. I noticed my husband was off and pissed. So I asked him if everything was alright. He looked at me and said he doesn't think we can do it anymore. I'm gonna write the conversation down on how it went. My husband: I don't think we can do it anymore. Me: what do you mean? I feel like you're cheating on me. You don't take care of the house anymore, the spark is gone, you don't handle our son, you're out without telling me with your friends, you don't even listen to me nowadays and don't care what I think. You went to the trip I wrote earlier about alone even though I refused and spent $. I tried to talk to you. But you don't even have time for me. Christmas around the corner and you're not even planning anything for it. What's gotten into you? Me: okay, it isn't what it looks like. You knew exactly how I was treated before I met you. I was hated by everyone. I was an introvert and never had any friends. I'm sorry you feel like this. Before I could finish, he said, what is going on between you and your friends? You spend more time in gym and with them than in our home. I don't think I can even take this far. I'm gonna be blunt in here. If things are going to be like this, I want a divorce. I feel like a doormat. Hearing this, I get mad and we get into an argument where I said some very hurtful things to him. He couldn't argue back because we were at a public place and he valued his reputation more. He just listened. When I was done, he just softly said, now he surely wants a divorce. To which I blew up and told him maybe I should divorce him because he's unfit and I wasn't attracted to him anymore. After this, he told me not to bother coming home and he got up, paid and left with me there. I went to my mom's house and he didn't even call me. I went to pick up my son and his sister told me my husband took him earlier. When I went to our house back, he wasn't there, neither was our son. We didn't even talk after that. I've called him. He hasn't called back or replied to my texts. I apologized and told us we can make it work. I told him I was sorry. Offered marriage counseling. I told him I'd cut off my friends and quit gym. I told him I didn't mean those words. I haven't told my parents about this yet, but they can clearly see something is off because my husband is usually a calm person and never ever will take this action during this holiday week without a reason. I've ruined our Christmas. He dropped my son yesterday morning at my parents' and refused to come inside or see me. He didn't even talk to my dad or mom. I don't know what's going on inside his head. I drove to our house yesterday without my son so we can talk this out and make this work. He wasn't there. I found beer cans and cigarettes there. Never in his life he touched these. I ducked up royally. I know he took it seriously and I don't know what to do now. Reddit, please help me out. Edit, I am extremely remorseful for how I treated him and I want to set things right. I take full accountability of my actions and consequences. I'll set it right. I was awful to him. I know that. I don't need you all to set me aflame further because I know precisely what I did and I want to make it work. Marriage has ups and downs, and in ours, I did shitty behavior which impacted us. I can't imagine my life without him. I love him. I was there at a point where I got lost, where the limelight, the attention felt so much of a reality I forgot who I really was. I disrespected my husband, the man who stood by me all these years, in the worst possible way, and there is no other punishment which is more deadlier than him filing for divorce. I want us to work. I'm writing my feelings down in hopes of getting therapy, and I'll be seeing a family friend soon, who's a therapist. Meanwhile, I just want to let my husband know I'm sorry, but I can't because he's not replying. People say the opposite of love is indifference, and I'm dying right now. I want him to be mad. I want him to shout at me. I want him to tell me how shitty I am, but I want him to talk to me. I want us to be a family again. At this point, I'm really disgusted with myself. I don't know how can I ever win his trust back, but I need to. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, you ducked up. That's it. Redditor follow up. Second this. You were overweight once too. Your ego sounds out of control. Redditor 2, why would you hope to stay together for your kid? Your kid existed while you were out running around with your new friends. Your kid existed when you were verbally abusing your husband. Your kid existed this whole time, but he only matters now as a bargaining chip? You. Redditor follow up. No offense, this entire post and her comments wrecked as me. How she feels. Not once did she thought about what her husband feel nor what her son felt. I will make it up to them, that's BS. Even if she did change, she has to accept that no matter what, her husband may never forgive her nor trust her. Did she think that's this entire argument is simply what she did that day? Nope, it's a series of events, and frankly you've made too many mistakes to even deserve a second chance. True, marriage has ups and downs, but this notion is no excuse to abuse your husband. TBH, your husband being married to you offers no benefits at all. Redditor 3, you sound like a horrible person. Selfish, uncaring and lazy. Your husband works and minds the child while you go to the gym all day and then spends loads of money on a trip without your husband. Your husband is definitely better off without you. Good luck to him. Redditor follow up. Also, if she really wanted to be with her husband, she would have worked out in the house. That way he could actually join her and still have time for the kids. This is the very least she should have done, but that should have been over a half year ago. She will be extremely lucky if he takes her back, and if that somehow happens, she better not screw it up again. Redditor 4, of course he can't go to the gym. He's always working and caring of your son during his time off. He has no time for the gym because no one is going to watch your son, and there you are taking advantage of his time by going to the gym and not helping him enough around the house. Maybe you should have cut the amount of hours going to the gym and stayed home to help more. I honestly think there's no fixing this because it's too late. You chose your friends and your image over your husband, and he already saw that you didn't prioritize him. Redditor 5, your post focused so much on looks. Meanwhile, it sounds like your husband is the breadwinner, takes care of your home and your son. It sounds like he is extremely underappreciated. The fact a man would ask to take you out in front of him means you don't make it clear you are married or come off so disrespectful he doesn't feel the need to respect your husband. All sounds very sad. Redditor follow-up, this is so exactly true. Did your friends know you were married and had a husband that was engaged in the relationship until you run him off? Sounds like a bunch of really shallow people focusing only on another person's appearance and not what really makes them who they are. Redditor 6, honestly, you sound much like my abusive ex-wife who was always self-centered. The damage is done. It's up to him if he wants to give you another chance to work it. Otherwise, it's the papers for you. Redditor follow-up, been through the same thing, seems like the husband is done. Might be too late for op but lesson learned for next time. Redditor 7, I'm sorry you feel like this. That right there tells us all we need to know here. You're a narcissist. Redditor follow-up, right? Op is awful. I hope the husband finds a decent partner instead. Redditor 8, you have told your husband throughout this whole thing that you do not love him and never have. You make a date with another man in front of your husband, and expect us to believe your lies about wanting to salvage your relationship? Redditor follow-up, yeah, I saw that too. A man asked her on a date right in front of her husband and she accepted. Despite claiming to be offended and put off by him. If I was out with my husband and a woman he had recently become friends with came up and asked him to go out for coffee with her, and he didn't say no, I'd be considering divorce too. How disrespectful can you be? Redditor 9, you had many opportunities, all the times that he invited you on dates and you rejected. The efforts he made to regain the relationship but you avoided them. I think this last quote was to see how things will work out but you wasted the opportunity and made it worse. You only realize everything you did now that he's gone. You had many opportunities but you lost them all. Do not expect him to give you one last if you do not put your life into earning that opportunity. You have to do everything you can to prove yourself to him to win that opportunity. It is not about stopping going to the gym or taking your friends out of your life. Has something else happened with someone or was it just attention? Will you keep updating? Hope so. Op answer, it was just attention. I never stepped out of marriage. Hopefully I intend to update my posts. My parents are doubting something has happened as my husband never behaved like this. They're asking about it and I haven't told them just yet. I'm worried they might feel horrible of me for doing what I did. I'm remorseful and would do anything I can to mend things. Redditor 10, telling someone hurtful things is like shooting someone with a gun. Can you take the bullets out of the body and put them back into the gun as if nothing happened? Your actions have consequences. Op answer, I understand that and I know it was horrible of me to say so. I ducked up in the worst possible way that too on our date in our favorite place and it's scarred for life. I'm guilty for that and I'd love nothing more to work on our marriage. Redditor 11, let's hope this guy moves on. He deserves much better. Can't believe how superficial you are with the whole obsession on who is more fit than the other. He was your husband and you have a kid together. As you don't mention what the hurtful words were that you said, I can only imagine it wasn't pretty. Apologies afterwards are pretty useless. Damage is done. Redditor 12, dang. He sounds like a great guy, you're gonna regret treating him so bad when he finds someone else. Redditor 13, you're a terrible person, seriously you don't even deserve a second chance, leave your husband and let him divorce, let him meet someone better and move on. Redditor 14, you became what you hated and destroyed your marriage. He deserves better. Redditor follow-up, this is why personally I don't get in relationships with women. Goes the same for any gender who have grown up in broken homes or had traumatic childhoods. Unless they have dealt with their issues in therapy or with a professional like an adult should, they will not be good partners. I am a person who in real life, if you knew me, would never think I would be a therapy type person. Think typical masculine man who keeps feelings inside. But in my mid-20s I went to a therapist for 6 months for some issues and I would say it completely changed my life. She needs intensive IC, and needs to pray her husband somehow doesn't file papers too quickly. BC she will not find another dude like this at her age and baggage. Redditor 15, like this comment if you think op has already cheated on him. Redditor 16, WTH? You have to be the most dumbest person on Reddit. This man is working his ass off to provide for you and your kid and you can't oversee few extra pounds? So you were with him because of his fitness? Please go seek help for yourself. Redditor follow up. Yeah, but it sounds like she was unattractive and a basket case dealing with issues before they married and he stuck by her. Truly one of the most selfish things I have seen. Hopefully the father can keep the kid in check so he doesn't grow up like the mother. Redditor 17. Leave him alone would be a prime solution. It's clear that looks to you is more important than the person, and that's not healthy for a relationship. This is something you need to fix. Maybe a therapist can help as it seems that you struggle with social pressure. But, you messed up, and chasing him around, offering false truths, will only make matters worse. I would wait, maybe he will talk to you again sometime, maybe he won't. That's up to him, you have done the damage and now it's all up to him on how to go forth. Op answer, looks aren't important to me. You see, I was hated because of being unattractive and overweight in my high school and it had an astounding effect on my health and confidence. I know it wasn't right of me to do. I made horrible remarks and my marriage depends on it now. I would never do it again and would do anything to make things work. We have a son, his future and happiness lies with us, together. About the remarks, I was awed by charms and flirtation. It was horrible of me and I couldn't help but feel flattered by it. Redditor 18, what a low effort troll post. If this is real, he's way better off without you. Redditor 19, I believe he's done. He could probably tolerate everything else, but to be told you're not attracted to him crushed him. You said it out of anger, but it is the truth and now he knows. He is likely questioning what you actually bring to the relationship. Once he convinces himself that you are more of a burden than an asset, divorce papers will follow. Your true character came out once you were noticed. Redditor follow up. Once he cuts out the dead weight op and realizes how much money he is saving by not having her around, he will be so happy. He already does everything around the house, takes care of the kid, and provides. Even with alimony and child support he won't be paying for her lifestyle anymore. He will be so much better off in a year or two. Redditor 20, no one wants to be told they are no longer attractive to the person they love. I don't know what's worse than ducked up, but you're there. Your marriage is over. You don't deserve your family. You're just awful. Story 2-2. I feel like my wife is abusive, but I also emotionally cheated. My 32 meters wife 33 and I have been together for a decade, married for 3. In the beginning things felt idyllic as they do in the honeymoon stage. Our friends and family would tell us our love story was straight out of a book or movie. But slowly things started to change. She expressed some distaste for some of my friends, and slowly over time, sometimes I took her on her word on it, sometimes it would be a fight, but eventually I cut them out of my life, speaking to fewer and fewer people as time went on. There was one person in particular, a friend I've known my entire life literally, that was basically a brother to me. Our families were very close. She said that he made several passes at her when I wasn't looking. I took her word, and also cut him out of my life. For the few years, things were mainly great. I was working a decent job, and she was nearly done with school and we decided to move out together. That first year we were out together, I noticed some behaviors that were a bit annoying, but not deal breakers. She wasn't as neat as me, wasn't as diligent about chores, but I felt that if it was my preference for the place to be a certain level of tidiness, then it was my job to maintain it, and not force her to it when she's comfortable with a different level of it. Things took a turn for the worse when we got engaged. Suddenly, my family was public enemy 1. We had many fights about my family getting in our way as a couple, while I'd argue that I never forced her to interact with my family much since she was shy and didn't like too many social situations, but they never got in the way. She says they never encouraged us, or facilitated us as a couple in the way her family did. We spent a lot more time hanging out with her family, by her choice. She says it was because she never felt accepted by my family. I argued that we just never hung out with my family by her choice, and that they always invited her to events, vacations, offering to pay, etc. Eventually I gave up fighting and slowly reduced contact with my family. We got married, and while it wasn't perfect, it was a well-regarded affair by our families. She wasn't happy with it for several reasons. The food, the limo was late, she felt like her family helped more than mine did. She yelled, threw things, and asked me for a divorce the day after our wedding. I talked to her, tried to calm her down, After a few days things went back to normal, and every so often we'd have a fight about my family or our wedding. Next we bought a house together and it needed a ton of work. I was working, and she was in her final year of school. I was paying the mortgage, and the bills, and handling most of the chores around the house so that she could finish school. We had the agreement that once she was done, she'd be able to help out, and contribute. She graduated during the pandemic, started working. I asked her about helping with the bills because I was struggling, and since retirement, and health insurance comes out of my pay, she was bring home more than me and I could use a little help with the bills. She said, well, since I was the man, it's my responsibility to take care of her. What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. Her words. I thought she was just kidding, but I've asked a few times since, and she has maintained she'd only help with the bills if I needed it. There were 3 times we were short in the last few years, and when I asked her for help, she'd comb through the account, interrogate me about why we don't have enough, and make me sign a contract agreeing to pay her back by a certain date. This is all while I was trying to also fix things around our house, and to be fair, she would help with some of the repair costs, but it was a drop in the bucket compared to our expenses. It hurts my feelings since I see her spend over $5,000 on her credit card on clothes and things, taking her family out for dinners, and paying it off every month, but then turning around and bragging to me and her close family that she doesn't know how she's always able to pay all her bills and how I don't know how to manage money. As time goes on, I see her losing her patience with me. I can no longer seem to do anything right. If the laundry isn't done by the time she gets home on Friday, she yells at me. If someone cuts me off when driving, it's my fault for not paying attention. If I'm painting and I drop paint, it's because I'm careless. If something is broken, it's my fault for not maintaining it properly. I've been screamed at alone, in front of family, in the car for things like dropping my phone, her food not being ready when she gets home from work, not sending a picture of something she ordered fast enough, not going out for Thai food when she mentioned it once when she's told me for the entirety of our relationship that she doesn't like Thai food, for scheduling doctor's appointments on Saturdays because it's her day to rest. I get yelled at for not scheduling appointments because almost no doctors in our area work Sundays, or after 5 on weekdays, for cleaning on Sundays, because Sundays are for relaxing. When I try to explain myself, she says I'm being purposefully contrary and that I'm always trying to make it her fault. To be honest, I just don't try to explain myself or fight back anymore. I just say, sorry, and I try to whatever it might be that's bothering her. I feel like the help. I wake up at 4 a.m. to make her breakfast and lunch so she can eat in bed when I wake her up. I then draw her a bath. I iron her clothes in the morning and take her to work. When she's home, she doesn't lift a finger. I cook. I bring her meals and drinks to wherever she wants to eat that day. I clean daily with no help. I take care of our pet with no help. I do all the groceries. I wash her hair for her when she wants to wash her hair. She gets out of the bath and it's my job to put lotion on her and help her get dressed. Eating together involves me getting up several times to fetch her more drinks, food, dessert, chapstick, etc. She wakes me up at night to fetch water, to come with her so she can use the bathroom. She refuses to let me sleep unless she's ready to sleep, even though I wake up at 4. There are more nights than not where I'm going to bed at 1 a.m. because she wants company. If I fall asleep, we fight because I am an old man, and have no interest in her. I have to sit with her when she decides that she wants to catch up on work at 10 p.m. on a Sunday, and I can't be on my phone, or on my laptop trying to work, or catch up on my college work. I basically need to sit in the room in there and watch my arm hair grow. I am frankly exhausted. This culminates to late last year. I ducked up at work. I was let go. She was not happy. I found a consulting job a week later. I lost 2 people close to me due to COVID and was also PRN addicted as well. I tried to talk to her about my feelings regarding the loss and my addiction, but the addiction made her angry and any talk about my family was always touchy for us. I didn't have any of my own friends at this point, but I was reading a lot of relationship advice to the point where I messaged someone that was going through a similar situation. Me and this person started talking daily. A lot of it was just us complaining about our spouses, making fun of each other for being too scared to file for divorce. We never met, we never exchanged photos. We did, however, exchange numbers, and it turns out they live in the same area code. We moved out communication to text messages, and would sometimes even call each other to complain. I never told my wife about this. I know I ducked up, but it was nice to have a friend again. And it was nice to be able to speak to someone without needing to walk on eggshells. My wife eventually found the text messages. She called the woman I was talking to several names, which I foolishly said no, she's not that at all. She accused me of defending them. I backed down. I told her that she was right, the person is those things she said. I cut contact with them. I make no excuses for myself. I know I had an emotional affair. I bruffed someone else into my inner emotions and feelings that wasn't my wife. I recognize that. I've had many talks about this to my wife. By this point I had a new job, and was able to afford therapy. I've been over this in greater detail with my therapist. He suggested we go to couples counseling, which is something I've bruffed up with her and she has declined since they are only going to take your side anyway. He has mentioned to me that he thinks she is being unfair, and that I need to explore the idea of needing to leave the relationship for both of our sakes. He mentioned that my PRN addiction could be a coping mechanism for the way she treats me. She demanded that she sit in on one of my therapy sessions one day without my therapist knowing and conceded. After the session, she was very upset and angry, saying the therapist was taking my side. She threw a few things around the room and I had to wrestle my work computer out of her hands to stop her from throwing it. This made her more upset because my reaction should have been to hold her down and hug her and to comfort her. I have made a lot of excuses on her behalf for some of her behavior. I blamed the stress of wedding planning, of school, of moving, of miscarrying. I've talked to her about all of this, trying to help her through her own emotions. I've suggested individual and couples therapy for her and us. Our sex life is not what it was because I have a hard time being in the mood after being yelled at every day. If I do try to initiate, it's never the right way for her, and that I should read Twilight to learn how a woman wants to be treated. I am posting this after months of debating whether or not, because there is a part of me that is certain that I am just a bad person, and a bad partner. That I deserve how she treats me, because I have not ever been a good partner to her despite the person I had the affair with, and my therapist telling me it's not only my fault. I just don't know what to do. Any advice? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, she's abusive and controlling and I can't believe you made it this far with her. Redditor 2, that was ducked up to listen to your therapy call. In fact, all of this is ducked up. Leave now or you'll never get out. You didn't mention kids, so that's good. Leave and cut all ties. Sounds like your life is a living hell with this person. Go find someone new and be happy. Good luck. Redditor 3, get out ASAP. Based on the history, she's only going to get worse. Save yourself. Redditor 4, please just leave. That was heartbreaking, someone has put up with that amount of shit for so long. Redditor 5, reading this breaks my heart. You are not a bad person at all. She's the one who pushed you away, treated you like shit, expected and is getting the world from you. It would be perfect if she was way more humble and appreciated you. But since she's not, you gotta develop the courage and file for divorce, and leave. Start a fresh new life. You definitely deserve it. If you start to cave in and give her what she wants, remember this, she will admit and say I am your queen and you are my jester, only to make yourself the fool to entertain me, nothing more. If need be, start a diary or some sort, try your best to hide it where she will never find it. So that you can write down what she's done to you, date and time, so it'll prevent you from paying any sort of alimony and be approved to take half of everything and hopefully more from her. I wish the best of luck to you in your future. This isn't healthy at all for you. Your other comments stated the obvious, we support you. Up answer, do you think I could have taken her side more against my parents? There were things she said that they said that I had a hard time believing, and I know she felt like I should have taken her word without hesitation. But it's hard for me to see my parents in a negative light when I feel like they've been as good as parents as someone could ask for. Redditor 6, learned helplessness. Made to feel unworthy and less. You deserve better. Kick her ass into, touchdown. Redditor 7, you are not a bad person and no one deserves that kind of treatment. Everything you described, that is emotional abuse. And financial abuse. While I am all for people trying to figure out their issues, emo, you need a fresh start. Without her. Redditor 8, please leave this woman, you deserve so much better. She is an abuser and you need out. She's isolated you on purpose so you feel you have no support. Believe me, your friends and family will be there for you. God forbid you have kids with her, you'll have to do everything for the child and her to the point you break. Leave her ASAP no matter what she says. There is a woman out there for you that will treat you well. Redditor 9, also you had an emotional affair. So what? She's abusive and that's far worse. Redditor 10, good God, everything about this post made me cringe. What in the hell are you doing to yourself here? Redditor 11, your therapist is right, please explore the idea of leaving her and just taking some time to be by yourself. You sound like you have a lot to give in a relationship, you deserve to give it to someone who's willing to do the same for you. You deserve to have friends and family, too. She's completely alienated you from anyone who would make you see reason in this relationship so she can always control the narrative. She's evidently trying to do this with your therapist as well. It's never too late for you to pursue the life you're deserving of. If she isn't willing to get help, you can't make her, but you can help yourself. Op answer, I won't lie, I am terrified of her dragging my name through the mud with her family. They are basically the only people I've regularly interacted with in the last few years, while some members of her family has picked up on our issues, and have asked me why am I putting up with it. I feel like they will all turn on me when they learn of the emotional affair. Redditor 12, good Lord, if this is true, just pack your bags and walk out. Doesn't seem like you're stuck due to finances, don't mention you're leaving, just stay home one day when you've found a new place and pack and move your stuff while she's at work. Block her on everything. Don't give your new address to anyone so she can't get it from anyone. If you're trolling, you're a DCK. You are furthering the cause of abused men. Op answer, I promise you I'm not trolling. I've just been in this situation for long that I truly don't know if I'm just deceiving myself, my therapist, and that I'm the bad person here and my wife is right. I know that this sounds very fake or overly naive and pandering for pity. I went years willingly agreeing with her maybe my parents are not good people, I reduced contact, that was my call and my fault. I know asking moral-based questions is against the rules here, so I just asked for advice on this situation because I just don't know. Redditor 13, this is horrifying. Redditor 14, okay, I'm going to say this in the most loving way possible, but there is no way the PC is that good. Just leave her, man. She is abusive. In every single way. And she does not deserve you. Redditor 15, I don't understand how you let it get this bad. I don't blame you at all, none of this is your fault, but you gotta know that she's not good for you, right? This isn't how a relationship is supposed to be. You are not her husband. You are her slave. Please. Confide in someone you can trust, a family member, anyone you know who will believe you. Possibly contact that old friend of yours who was like a brother to you. You need to get out of this relationship, but you need to do it safely. She has already shown that she will escalate to violence by throwing things. I know for a fact if you tell her you want to leave to her face, she will not take it well and you may be in danger. Talk to your therapist about building a support network to help you manage the aftermath once you make a move to get out. I'm sure they can advise you on what to do, who to talk to, how to get help and protect yourself, and ensure you will have a safe place to stay and money to support yourself. You will also need to make a decision about your shared pet. You may need to leave them behind for your own safety, even if it hurts. Get out, up. Get out safely, and don't look back. You deserve so much more than this. Op answer, I kept making excuses for her based on events in our life. I basically enabled her. Until really recently I thought this is how it's supposed to be, and I was just lazy oversensitive, and that's why things were bothering me. She would constantly remind me that any other woman would have left me a long time ago due to my family and friends, and she's a high value woman who's educated and creative. She brings up these points whenever I mention the unfair split between our chores and responsibilities. I am trying to decide on who I could confide in. My only friends are people I work with, but there are a few I do consider actual friends, not just work friends, but as far as anyone knows my relationship is perfect. Part of why I ended up speaking to that person from Reddit was because I didn't want to talk badly about my wife with someone that knows her. Basically, I could build a support network, and let people in on what's going on, which is something both you have said and my therapist has encouraged. I could stay with my folks and contribute to their household until I get back on my feet properly. As for the pets, they're small and she leaves the house for work so I could pack my stuff and fit it all in the back of my car and be able to leave in one trip.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.